Good evening, Resoluters. Welcome to Monday night. I'm Mark Jetski, and this is Master Jedi Koi. How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Dude, another day in the life. Enjoying day one of my 3-day weekend.
Heck yeah.
Goddamn, finally. Fuck. Okay, so yeah, holidays are officially over. I got to get
hmm
up and sleep and be like a normal human being today. Um,
Nice.
any of you turning in for the first time, this is the Resoluters. This is the 90-day body transformation challenge with myself and Mr. Coy here. So we go through a number of subjects that we chat about regarding fitness, nutrition, mental wellness, and all the kind of things that tie into that, and some lifestyle stuff in there as far as what we have fun with as well. So hopefully we can share some things with you. You can pick some things up you can put in your shopping cart to help you out on your journey. Those of you that are part of the Resoluters group, thank you for tuning in and welcome to the new members. I think we picked up 4 or 5 new members this week. The Resoluters group is on Facebook. It is a public group, so you're welcome to find us there, as well as our new budding Instagram page. You can find us there under Mark Jeske and Jeff Coy. Jeff and I have been friends since high school. We graduated in the class of from in Santee, California. So we're trying to crush the dad bod and over 40 stats. So that's what we're working on. But both of us have accomplished or succeeded going through body transformation challenges in the past. Jeff being Marine, and then myself going through some training and so forth with other trainers way back in the day, which has helped me cross paths with a number of my old coworkers from PF Chang's and then Paul Fleming's, and after that, and so on and so forth. So that is who we are. That is what's going on. We have an earlier episode tonight. We've been doing the late night for this season since we are on season 2. And since we have some extra free time today, we put together a bit of a bigger show for you, some guests. So we have Sarah Oliver, who is an artist and also a fitness enthusiast as well. So she's going to bring some good highlights to us. Sarah coming from the West Coast in Orange County, California. There she is. There's Sarah. Hey. All right. And then we have Mark Goldman coming to us from the East Coast. Mark is a writer, DJ, musician, and a marathoner. So this is Mark right there, live and in action. So he'll be with us in a little bit. So we'll be doing that.
Nice.
So that's our show. And then we also have Franco Magnolia's back with us again tonight with a new original track, Just For Us, in his Jack Johnson style. So he surprised me with this new original stuff.
Heck yeah.
Dude, I've seen him play drums in clubs, and he's tooled around on my keyboard and guitars that I've got here at the apartment. So it's always fun to see him doing some new things.
Heck yeah.
So what's going on? What have you been working on this past week, buddy?
Just getting back into the rhythm of things. It stopped raining finally.
Oh, there you go. Back outside,
yeah. Yeah, get my little walks in outside. But this yesterday, I took the kids ice skating for a little low impact exercise. It was a workout on the lower bodies, the lower extremities, the legs, and the lower back.
All those little muscle tendons around your knees and hips, and
feeling it for sure.
How's your ass? Does it feel like you went to jail for an overnight stay?
It feels good, man. Actually, because I've been keeping a good workout, a steady workout, so it didn't hurt as much as I figured it was going to.
Very good.
But I could definitely feel it. Connor loved it. It was his first time, and he loved it.
Oh, like a guy's made of rubber. That guy can take anything. There he is.
40 people.
Yeah.
What? No way, buddy.
40 people.
He passed like 40 people.
40. Surprised he wasn't doing burpees with his skates on.
He probably was dry.
Like a little master.
Daddy, can I hook up the PS4?
In a bit. Head on in there.
After your podcast?
After the podcast, yes, absolutely. Head on in there.
I'm going to download some games on it. Is that cool?
Yeah.
He's very excited.
He is super excited.
Yeah, right on. So I was able to drop a belt notch this week, which I was excited about, which I discovered yesterday. So that puts me on the last notch on a couple of my belts. So it's nice to be sizing down.
It's amazing.
Yeah, man. And I went in, I did part of my upper body workout today. And so everything is still on track there. So back in for part 2 of that tomorrow. But I'm loving the HIIT addition to the workout routine as far as adding in the tricep extension, the biceps, and the push-ups to every workout. So yeah, I know you're no stranger to those fucking push-ups with all of your
I
shit.
love them. I love them.
We do, yeah, I know.
Getting
Nah.
back into the diamond push-up routine instead of
Oh,
the
boom.
regular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got that push-up board over here, which I love that thing.
yeah.
But man, and I changed up for the chest routine. I changed up the incline on the bench. So that's put things in a different category as well. So I can feel the change.
Nice
Yeah. All right, man. So questions. We got the questions. We got to talk about the questions.
questions. Yes.
The questions, please. All right. Reggie says hello, by the way.
Hello, Reggie.
So, all right. So, from the great state of California, from Miss Elisa Kitchens, one of our Resoluters, and she's also one of those Spartan race people. She's just doing crazy shit right now.
Beast.
Um, she's like, "What is your favorite place on earth to go hiking?" For me, number one forever has been Joshua Tree National Monument. I absolutely love it out there. It's probably one of my favorite places on earth. But I think presently in my mind, my number one is going to be Sedona National Monument in Arizona. That's where I think I visited there last with my daughter Alex, and we had a great time hiking. And she almost broke her old man with the freaking route that she picked for us. Um, it's a beautiful place, and it just has this amazing vibe and energy that it does remind me a bit of Joshua Tree, but look with more greenery. So yeah, I think yeah, that's gonna be mine. What about you, Jeff? What's your favorite place to go hiking?
You know what? You know what's funny that you say Sedona. I've been out there a couple times within the
Yeah,
last couple of years, and I love that place. That place
dude.
is amazing. I've never gone hiking out there, but I think I might. Hearing that, I might have to start because I love it out there. It's amazing.
Well, dude, I was talking about doing some travel, and I think it's just more on my heart to do another visit to Arizona versus going out to doing something overseas first. So maybe we should high five over there in Arizona because I want
Sounds
to
like
take
a
my
plan, dude.
daughter out
Sounds
there.
like a
That'd be
plan.
cool.
But out here, I mean, the only place I really go hiking is right across the street at Cow's Mountain. But I
Yeah,
love it. I love
buddy.
my little view. Love my little view. My little hometown mountain.
That was my favorite growing up as a kid, being out there. The whole Mission Trails Park thing.
Yes, sir.
All right, you got a question?
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay. What you got?
this one's an anonymous question.
Ooh,
Yeah, I don't know who sent it, but their question is, what is a good way to get rid of skin tags?
where?
So
Okay.
skin tags. First thing you want to do is find out why you're getting the skin tags because there's an underlying problem there.
The
If
answer
you're
is not
getting
shop vac.
it is not shop vac. It is not hair clippers. So
Ooh, a beard trimmer.
beard
Oh,
trimmer.
fuck.
But I was watching a thing from Dr. Eric Berg, and
Cool.
he gave a little remedy for that. 2 drops of providone iodine, and the reason he said providone iodine versus regular iodine is because
Okay.
providone is like less toxic.
Oh,
So he
okay.
said 2 drops of providone iodine, 2 drops of fresh garlic juice. You can get that from just beating the hell out of a garlic, getting a little couple drops of juice out of there. So 2 drops and 2 drops. Mix
Okay.
it well. Apply with a cotton swab. Throw a band-aid over it, and apply twice a day. And that should see the skin tags disappear within a matter of days.
Dude.
But he said there could be some underlying causes for why you have it, and it could lead to like diabetes, overweight, being overweight, type of thing, estrogen. And this mixture of providone, iodine, and garlic juice actually helps with insulin resistance and regulates estrogen. So it's actually
Really?
double beneficial for you.
Cool. Wait, and it regulates insulin resistance. How so? Like, do
Uh,
you ingest it, or what are you talking about?
no, he said it regulates insulin resistance. I would hope you wouldn't ingest the iodine. I guess you could, can you?
No, I have an iodine supplement that I take that
Yeah,
I take
maybe.
in droplets, and it's for good like thyroid health and it for your body's deficiency for iodine since so much processed food is lacking in that. But
Hmm.
it tastes like iodine. It's not exciting. Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah,
All right, cool. Skin tag, no shop vac,
it
no
tags.
beard
Yep,
trimmer,
nope, no beard trimmer, no
garlic
scissors.
and iodine. Guys, it's cringy. Man, just all right. All right. Next question. Would you recommend? Oh, this is from Stephen Ashworth in Orange County, California, the master som himself.
Steven.
Yes, Stephen. He's all. Would you recommend whey or vegan protein powder? I would go neither. My number one protein powder I would recommend, Steve, is the there's an egg based powdered protein you can get at like Vitamin Shop and so on. I definitely recommend that as the number one. Um, Whey protein can give you some challenges with insulin resistance because of the sugar content to it. And then vegan, if you're worried about testosterone imbalance, that one can be a challenge for you as well. But I use Orgain for the one that has the probiotics and the vegan and fiber added to it, that kind of stuff, because I'm not worried about the soy content. But number one would be the egg based powder. And so yeah, Orgain's good for me. So I guess I would go vegan based on the question, but the egg yolk powder I think would be the number one.
There it
Tastes
is.
kind of milky too. It's kind of like you put cream in your or milk in your protein shake. I always use water with mine.
Yeah.
So,
Water with mine.
well, yeah, coconut water, baby.
Coconut water. That's what I've been
Yeah,
using. All right. Next question comes from Mr. Jeffrey Adams.
the Sinatra.
Mr. Sinatra, he actually asked me, "Hey Jeff, do you know how much fiber you need in a day?" And he posted a cool little video, which I learned from. So basically, you should usually most adults should have 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. And the unfortunate fact is, most adults today only get about 15 grams a day, so about half of the necessary fiber that they're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to have. So a good way to increase your fiber diet is to make sure you're eating something that's fiberlicious, either
Fiberlicious.
with soluble or insoluble fiber. The soluble kind is the kind that absorbs water when you digest it, and the other one, the insoluble, obviously does nothing when you digest it. So get a little bit of both of those. A good source of soluble fiber is like apples. Um, a source of insoluble fiber is like nuts and veggies. Those type of things will get you a good dose of fiber, like an apple or an orange or a tangerine or a pear. Any of those will give you about 3 to 4 grams of fiber per serving, and like a cup of raspberries will give you 8 grams of fiber per serving.
Oh,
And then yeah, and same with carrots and sweet potatoes. Gives you a cup of that gives you 4 grams of fiber per serving.
sweet
So
potatoes. Love sweet potatoes.
yes, sir.
He,
Remember your plate size. You half of it's supposed to be vegetables, and the other half the quarter protein and a quarter what is this? What was the other one?
fat content of some sort.
I guess starch or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So that's a good one. Fiber is something that I'm always forgetting about. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I have a fiber supplement that I take every now and then, and it's definitely something that's good to point out for people that are ever involved in keto. Um, when you're doing that, just straight protein for so long, and then likewise, if it's just something, if you don't eat a lot of vegetables, I know I get a handful of vegetables here and there a couple times a week, but it's not something that I focus on. I'm more protein driven, or I might get some starches and that kind of stuff. I did brown rice with my meal prep this week, so I'll get a little bit of fiber in there. But a good fiber supplement doesn't hurt, just to make sure you're getting those ABCs checked off. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next question we got from the great state of Arizona is from the question is from Josh Stone, one of our former musical guests, and actually Josh checked in with me today. Josh is one of the Resoluters, as well as he's performed on the show. He has started keto as well as a water cleanse that he had kicked in about 3 weeks. I think he's in now, and he is down 21 pounds. So he is crushing it. He does this all the time. He can still lose his weight like an 18-year-old when he puts his mind to it. So I just fucking hate him. But he's doing intermittent fasting combined with keto, and apparently he's miserable, and that's why he's not drinking, or he's rather not eating very much, because he does all the meal prep. He doesn't want to have to do it again. He's doing it with his dad, who's his partner, and he's having to cook for both of them. So he's like, yeah, it's just so much work and clean up in the kitchen. I just rather not eat. And I'm also, you got to not do that. You need to make sure whatever. So he's doing great. Anyway, his question here is, what's your favorite athletic activity to do with your daughters? Kind of a family thing. For me, it's been playing catch in the yard. I don't know how athletic it is, but when we do stuff like that, playing catch in the yard was always a fun thing for us. So that's something I used to do one-on-one with all three of the kids, and then together when they were little. And then we used to always play basketball together. So that was our thing. What about you? What do you do with the boy?
We got the basketball hoop outside. We do the usually do a little bit of basketball, a little bit of throwing the football around right out in the front yard, and then they love the ice skating. So I think we're going to keep doing that too.
No, right on.
Yeah,
It's so weird to think of ice skating in San Diego. It's like
yeah,
it doesn't even have winter. You know? Very
yeah,
cool. Okay, what you got?
Okay, so this one comes from my brother Chris Coy.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris. He says, "My wife's been pregnant 9 times. We have 9 kids. Why does she spit so
How
much
do I
during
always
pregnancy?"
forget that? My heart stops every time you say that.
9 times.
Time.
So he says, "Why does she spit so much during pregnancy? Is it bad?" Well, Chris, no, that's called tally. What is it? Tialism? Tialism.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's called
Is that
tialism.
a tobacco issue? Like, what are you talking about?
it's basically when your body starts changing, you produce more saliva from the new baby that's growing inside of you.
Okay.
It's most common in the first trimester. Usually fades off outside, but no, it's not bad for the baby. It's not bad for anybody. It's just producing more salivary saliva from the salivary glands.
Sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure I got my daughter Alex with my grandson. I think that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, I bet that's
Yeah.
hiding in one of those 10 million chapters.
I bet
It's
you're
like
right.
you could it's like a phone, but you could beat someone to death with that. Like, so my son-in-law, if he gets out of line, he's gonna have to watch for that book because that thing's gonna come early. That thing's it's terrible. Okay, so salivary glands gonna kick into over. Okay, great.
Kick in overdrive. You can spit a lot.
It's not a chewing tobacco
It's
issue.
not tobacco.
No.
Suck on some candy.
Snuff and red cups. It's, I just had the image of a pregnant lady just, like smoking Marlboro Reds at the end of the bar. The baby will be fine.
I need some chaw.
Oh fuck. Okay. Next, from the great state of Texas, Miss Magali Mendoza. Her question is, what is the side benefit of fitness discipline that you've seen in your life, as far as maybe something else that has improved as a result of being disciplined in this area?
That's a good question.
I think it's helped me remain focused on work. Likewise, I think it has strengthened my work ethic on those long days when you're like, well, I could work out after work, or I could just power through some extra steps right now. I think it kind of makes me more flexible in my approach to things. Number one, I think it's just how setting that example of being disciplined with fitness has carried over to my daughters, and to see fitness be so important to all three of them, and how that self-discipline is kind of duplicated through them as well. So, yeah, I think that would be didn't really think that far into it, as far as benefits, was seeing the kids get into it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of William Welch too, one of our Resoluters that's a CrossFit trainer, seeing the videos of him and his kids. And his kids are like your kids' age, out there doing burpees like your boy,
Burpees. Yeah.
just doing laps around the neighborhood and that kind of thing. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah,
what I
no,
got.
agreed, dude. Agreed. Just seeing it transfer into my family, really seeing my son excited to go out and do something, be active, go out and exercise, and actually get excited about burpees and lifting weights. When he sees me pull out the weights, he takes off his shirt and he gets pumped and motivated. He's ready to lift some weights.
He pulls his shirt off. He's like,
Dude, he
"Sit
does.
down." That's awesome.
He's like, let's do this, and just doing it. It makes me feel good after I'm done. It not just the benefits of maybe losing weight or getting more fit. It's the fact that after I get done, I do feel energized. I feel like I'm ready to seize the day. Not tired, but more ready to do something else after I'm done with that. So yeah,
Very cool. Yeah. My parents were just like, "Get out of my hair. Don't make me get off the couch."
same here.
Really comfy couch.
Next one comes from one of our Resoluters, one of our new Resoluters, Mr. Scott Asbury from Poway, California. And Scott says, does temperature change really make you sick? And Scott, it's not really the temperature change, but it's the change in the weather. And there's 3 main factors that really can cause you to get sick. That's exposure to cold air, exposure to dry air, and the more time you spend indoors. The first 2 are kind of like symbiotic. with each other. If you're in a cold air or dry air environment, like being out in the rain, putting snow chains on a tire for a half hour up in Big Bear in 35-degree rain weather, not good.
Sounds like
But
you're relating to a personal experience.
it sounds familiar. It sounds
It
like something
does.
just happened to
Yeah,
me.
last episode.
Yeah, but it
Like
causes
me
we,
moment. Yeah.
we all have membranes in our upper respiratory system, and those membranes catch things like viruses and stuff like that. When you're exposed to the cold, dry air, those membranes actually lose water. They dry out, and it actually allows more viruses to pass into our lungs from that. So that's why you're able to get sick faster in the cold, dry air. Also, when you're in a room full of people, the chances of exposure indoors is greater than them being outdoors with a group of people. So
Ooh, that's good to
yeah,
know. Also, it makes me conscious of it now because the last thing you want to do when you're doing a workout routine is to get sick and get derailed from a successful routine over something like that.
plenty of water, dude. Plenty of water because that's going to keep those membranes moist in your upper respiratory system.
Nice, very good. Hydrate. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't get sick very often, but I feel like I've been sick more, like not as often, like seldomly,
Mm-hmm.
since I moved here to Texas because it's humid here all the time. So
Right.
again, the water thing becomes even more important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do I got here? From Jason Gassert in the great state of Maryland. Jason, I think we talked about a few episodes ago about his success story. He's lost, I think, 35 pounds at this point. Was talking about the health benefits of going alcohol free. His question is, what is your ultimate fitness pet peeve? I really only have one, which is people that don't re-rack their weights.
Mm.
God damn, I want to bring back caning for these people.
Mm.
Just like, put the weights back, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm 100% with you on that one. Also, people who don't use a towel when they're on the weight benches or on the bench,
oh,
and then you got to walk
oh.
over and see their sweat stains from their ass sitting on the chair. You got to wipe it down. Be courteous. Like be kind, rewind. Yeah, wipe it down.
Oh, I had one of our Resoluters sent me a meme about that was just one to one. It was not appropriate for the group, and it was exactly that. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's disgusting." Okay, good call.
Yes, sir.
Good
Yes,
call.
sir.
Clean up after yourself, kids.
Clean up. Last question from me comes from my son, Connor Coy.
Hey,
He wants to, Dad. Do you know how much wood can a woodchuck chuck?
wow,
If a
really?
woodchuck could chuck wood. Well, son, I looked into it, and according to Richard Thomas, who is a New York State wildlife expert, woodchucks do not chuck wood. When they build a burrow, they actually chuck dirt. So, if you want to know how much dirt they chuck on a good day when they build a burrow, it's 35 cubic feet or about 700 pounds.
Wow.
Yes. Food for thought.
Now we know.
Now you know.
A little star comes across the screen.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
Oh yeah. There you go. We're doing all the '80s tonight. We're gonna crush it.
Daddy?
All right. So we're geared up. That's the questions for tonight. We try to do some intro questions for those of you watching at home. Please feel free submit your questions to the group. You could message Jeff or I through the Resoluters group, or shoot us a text or whatever's most convenient for you. But that is our wrap on that. So we're getting set up here. We're going to welcome Miss Sarah Oliver to the cast to go through her journey and kind of get some insight into what she's got going on. I mean, I'm not going to steal her thunder by talking about it too much, but we're going to bring her on to the show and do her thing. Jeff, anything else before I bring Sarah on?
No, bring her on. I'm ready.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
There we go. Awesome. So tell us about it. You have been doing the 75 hard challenge?
Yeah, so I
Okay.
started
Hard
75 hard. and it's been going really well. And I'll tell a little bit about kind of what that program is, how it works, and my journey with that thus far. It kind of coincided to when you guys first started, and that's when I hopped on and joined the group. Any additional layers of accountability and learning from other people is always helpful. So the program was created by Andy Frisella a few years back. I've had friends that have done it and inspired me. So that's what kind of put me towards wanting to do the journey. When I heard about it years ago, I was like, there's no way I would ever do that. 75 days without alcohol, 2 workouts a day.
Every
Like
time I've done it, I've enjoyed it, but I've grimaced every time I think about doing it.
Yeah, so for me it was like there's no way that I would be able to do it, right? And so yeah, so I started the journey the kind of middle of October. I think it was like October 22nd, I want to say, is the first day I made the note. And preparation goes into it, obviously, because if you're starting anything like this, you want to research it. You want to learn about it, watch the podcast, really find out what it's about, because it's not really a physical challenge. It's meant to be a mental challenge. So, but the key components that you have to do every day for 75 days straight: number one, no alcohol, a gallon of water a day, 2 45-minute workouts. One of them has to be outdoors. They both can be
45 in a single day.
2 45-minute workouts in a single day.
Cool.
One of them, yeah, one of them has to be outside.
How far apart should they be?
So good question. So they can't be doubled up. So you can't go from like one and do a 90-minute workout. And the reason why is because it forces you to really plan out your day and be strategic. A lot of the whole thing about this is discipline and pushing yourself. So being outside, you're going to be forced to go through some sort of inclement weather, toughen up your body. It's all about developing grit, fortitude, mental strength. I do have to say, I'm in Newport Beach, so to some that might be cheating, because I see people doing it and they're out, trudging through the snow. So
Wow.
maybe one day, my plan is to do it again in a different environment. But there's still days. I mean, I have to get out there in the rain. We've had a lot of rain, so I've been having to go out there or wake up early or go late at night and still do it, because your schedule
gets pretty cold out there at night. I mean, even early in the morning. I remember doing a biking routine when I lived in Orange County, and it was a pretty frigid 13 miles that I was doing there in the morning.
Yeah, so it's the 2 workouts, the water, no alcohol. The other thing is you read 10 pages of an entrepreneur book. It has to be it has to be a physical book. It can't be an audio book. That's actually been one of the biggest components to me where I'm benefiting the most. I think I'm up to my 5th book, because I've had to start over. So, and then
that's great that you mentioned that. I was doing a morning routine where I had like a few different books where I would read like a chapter out of each morning kind of thing, and a physical book, and some of them were business oriented or just at least strategy. And I did really like the effect that it had. It just really gets your head in the right place.
Yeah, and the benefits that he talks about too to reading the book is it's a huge a lot of people don't realize just getting your mind into a book and having it be physical. Number one, it's something tangible you're touching, it's visual, so it's involving all your senses, but it takes you out of whatever's going on, and it reduces anxiety. If you can do like 10 pages, it's a huge somebody that's struggling with like panic or anxiety. If you can like actually get your head and read 10 pages, it shifts you mentally into a different plane, and it also expands, problem solving and creativity. So if you're working on a lot of times while you're reading, that's when solutions will come to you, especially with these types of books. So that's been a huge key component for me. There's
I really like that. I'm like immediately thinking to myself while you're talking, that needs to be back in my routine. You're preaching to the choir right now. It's hard for me to get myself to take it a notch down mentally.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm constantly going. That's awesome.
And 10 pages isn't so much to where you can't do it, but it adds up. It's the compound effect, so it adds up day by day. So like I just got a new book. This is the one I'm reading right now.
Cool.
The Power
Power
of
of
One
one more.
More.
One more what?
Yeah.
Like everything? One more push up, one more lap? What is that? Is that the idea?
It's kind of I'm just like a little bit into it, but it's kind of cool. Like one of the chapters, he's referring to like the Matrix and talking about like your mindset and just taking like
Gonna get your red
just
pill.
yeah. He talks about So it's a good book so far. It's easy to read, but just little things like that. Like there's so many books. I have a huge list to share, and then the last component is taking one progress picture every day. It's a simple task, but it's really easy to forget. So if you're not tracking and remembering, it's something that you could forget to do and then have to start over. So the program's designed to make you mentally sharp and like put all these components together. The physical results are amazing because you're doing all these things that are critical for your body. So just like being able to eliminate alcohol and drink a gallon of water has huge health benefits that a lot of people don't realize. My struggle though that I'm realizing right now is I sort of like increased my caffeine slightly and I was doing good not having it. So that's one of the things I'm like, oh, because that'll contribute to kind of counteract and contribute to the dehydration. But the outdoors, getting out, getting outside is such for mindset, it's so beneficial. And so I've been utilizing it with my son because he doesn't specify like what those workouts have to be. So this program can be tailored. And the last thing I didn't mention is to follow a diet with no cheat days. So I'm doing intermittent fasting where I try to do 14-12, but I stick to, or 14-8, but I stick to 12 hours, like for women, because the hormone regulation, it's not good to go too far beyond that. So I'd stick to that, clean, not eating the desserts, things like that. So shifting the diet, I pound wise, I've seen the scale go down like maybe 2 pounds or something, but drastic shift in muscle tone and clothes fitting and measurements. So I do like the in-body analysis and I'm able to see my muscle content and fat content go down.
It's huge, especially when you're at a closer to an ideal weight. That's when that becomes an even more important factor. I really like the stuff that you're talking about as far as the book. I almost feel like we should start doing a book that we could feature that we're working on for the group. I think that would be a cool idea. Sorry, I'm just like
well, no, you could add a few books. People could post on like if they are reading anything, what they are. A lot of people like I'm in the 75 hard Facebook group, and I constantly see people like posting their books and little snippets, and it's been such a inspiring way to go about it, because then you see like what's really resonating with people and kind of like what you want to add in. And in 10 pages, it isn't a daunting amount, but it is a number that will help transform yourself. And it adds up. So that's been cool. It's been a really key factor. So the other thing that I'm passionate about, and I'll talk a little more on, is introducing the water into my life. So I have a special type of water that I drink. It's been
I definitely want to hear more about that. I could get rid of alcohol, no problem. With caffeine, oh man.
Yeah, caffeine. I got rid of caffeine for I think like 3 months, and now I do like I'm very careful with it. I do half decaf and half regular in the morning with my cup, but it's hard with this challenge because you're doing so much and you have to really regulate your time. So I think like they don't say eliminate caffeine, that's not part of it, but there's certain things where I'm like, hey, reaching out to other people, are you like wanting more caffeine? They're like, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
I would. I do either like some kind of pre-workout mixture or like maybe some green tea matcha with some Pellegrino when I go to the gym. always got to have that little. I think it's like only as much of a mental thing for me
Like
now
a
as any
kick.
kind of stimulant. Yeah, it's in my head though now. It's like, okay, when I have this drink, we're gonna kick some ass in the gym. I'm gonna be like all pumped up, and just it's so wired right now. I'm just like, I'm gonna have to go to rehab or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, so
But you were talking about the water.
yeah, so this is another book that I wanted to recommend to people. It's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. Um and it talks about
This is a
all
huge
these
subject, so I'm glad we're getting into this.
so it talks about all like everything in it from morning sickness to cholesterol to like migraines, and it talks about how water is so critical and how it functions in your whole system. I mean, if you think about it, that's what we're made of, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
people forget, and what happens when we're adding in things like alcohol and caffeine, our thirst level and craving for thirst like naturally decreases, and we actually, when we do a lot of times, even in kids, and you talk about like child obesity, they're actually programmed like, well, they're thirsty, but it also goes, they think they're hungry, right? And so sometimes maybe we're overeating, and if we just kind of like counteract some of that with like, well, let's first have like a glass of water.
Mhm.
Or even if you're reaching and you're craving alcohol, like for me, you know, I actually, with the challenge, I did pretty good because I was just like really dedicated. So that actually wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it would be. But let's say you are craving like a cold beer or your drink, like if you actually replace that craving for somebody that's trying to wean or drink less alcohol, not
Mhm.
maybe cutting it all out, just like substitute it or have the two drinks and have your one glass of water, like while you're out socially or
Oh, for
whatever.
sure. I
A
agree.
lot of
Boom.
people, I know a lot of people, they just like
Jeff.
won't even do that, but then their body gets so accustomed to having like less less water, it goes into a complete state of dehydration, which causes like so many health issues. And
Oh,
if
man.
you
My
just start,
energy suffers incredibly when I'm deficient on water, and I feel like I'm not a big soda person, but I was drinking like a lot of energy drinks and Diet Cokes and stuff like that, and I feel like my body was being robbed of its ability to crave water the way it should because it was doing
exactly.
something. And then I'm the worst. I go out drinking once a week, once every 2 weeks, where I really will imbibe into something, and I'm just so used to drinking water or just physically drinking something.
Hmm.
You get to that, you're on that seventh drink going, it's a party, because that I've noticed, like when I switch it up, if I just have that glass of water, but I'm physically still drinking something,
Right.
that I'm good. That's why I joke with Jeff all the time. I drink like I'm thirsty because
Yeah.
I'm fucking thirsty. That's just really what it is. But yeah, it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. That's great.
Yeah, so this book I definitely recommend, and I mean, it goes through and it talks about like exactly how the body functions on a cellular level, and all the components for, and you can look up like maybe there's something that like you specifically have. There are topics and it will talk about that pretty specific. So if it's arthritis or autoimmune disease, so that was my thing. I had a immune system issues. I was actually on immunotherapy, and right before the pandemic, I was diagnosed with something called autosclerosis. So I was going deaf. I wouldn't go all the way deaf, but I was losing my hearing at a rapid rate.
Wow.
And so,
I feel like we
um,
talked about this a little while ago. Okay. Okay.
yeah. And so I went through a lot of health issues where I was to the point where I never, thought that I would be capable of doing anything like physical what I'm doing right now. So I have a special water machine. It's a medical device. It's called Kangen water. And I found that 2 years ago. And just by drinking more of the water, it helped resolve eventually some of my immune system issues, just because it's so key for how your whole entire body functions.
Yeah.
So with this specifically, it has three properties. It makes the water molecules slightly smaller so you absorb it better. It's alkalized versus alkaline, so they don't add any of the bottled alkaline waters that you see out there. They'll have like essentially, if you look at it, it'll say basic baking soda's added to it. Things that aren't really
Yeah.
good for your body to process.
I've seen studies go back and forth on
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff.
actually not good for you. So this
Right.
is created without any of that, and you can control it for what your body needs. So I can
Wow.
control the
Really is
pH.
tailored.
Yeah, I can control it from regular 7.0 to 8.5 to 9 to 9.5. And
Awesome.
then yeah, and it makes also a super acidic water, which you can use to sanitize everything. And then it makes a high alkaline water, which you can clean your vegetables. So it's been
Wow.
it's been life transforming. It's actually a holistic approach for your health just by using water and eliminating chemicals. So if anyone wants more info about it, it's something I do and I'm passionate about it. So you can find me at or reach out with the group here. But yeah, so water has been a key component for my health journey, and I'm to the point where it's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I share with people.
Mm-hmm.
But
that is wild that this routine helped you change so much what was going on with you physically.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that like a couple years ago I was in bed and couldn't get out and do stuff, and now I'm doing this challenge. So I'm not by any means like some of the people you mentioned doing the triathlons and all this, but maybe someday, like I'm actually like, oh, maybe someday I could put that on my agenda.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome.
To be doing this, it's great. So
I would definitely like to see more about what you have going on with that water thing, just because just making sure I have the right water intake and water that like is not tap water where it's been polluted by the public works system and that kind of stuff. That stuff is very much been important to me. But I'm curious about these tailoring instruments that you have on there, what you can do with that, because that sounds, I don't know, it's really interesting to me. Like I'm learning more about with fitness and diet, how your body type dictates a lot of your success that you're going to have based on what you're doing. So anything that I can get my hands on that helps me tailor to something specific for me, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, and what's great about it is exactly that. It's actually a medical device that you can utilize for all these different functions, and it helps with the nutrient absorption. So all the supplements that you're taking, you actually get more out of them when you're drinking this water with it, which is really cool. And then for my system, it goes through this really neat 3-stage pre-filter, which is we tailor it based on your zip code. So we actually look up, like where you live, what's in your water. And then we get these NSF certified filters to take everything out and then go through this machine. So it's really customized, specific to your needs.
That is awesome. Jeff and I were talking, it's maybe been a couple episodes back now, when I was living on the East Coast and I was getting into evaluating how fluoride is used. And just, you can look up and see Public Works will post what the level of fluoride is based on county and neighborhood and so on. And it's drastically different in different parts of the country. So
it's not like for the filtration, it's not like just get one size fits all. It's like every, and then there's people that I talk to that have well water, and there's like a specific test kit that you can do on your well water. It gets so fascinating with all these things. So, but yeah, if anyone wants more information, reach out to me. I'm totally happy to go over it. Or if you want information on the Live Hard program, I'm just doing the 75 hard. And there's multiple phases, so it gets harder. They incorporate, like in each phase, they're going to add on cold showers for 5 minutes or 8 critical business tasks. Like
I did that cold shower thing back in the day, and I fucking hate it. It worked. It did all the shit they said it was supposed to do, but fuck that.
Yeah, so this is like, I think you do it 30 days, the next one. So it's not like a permanent thing, but I hear everyone say it works really well. I haven't tried that part yet.
Dude, like when I was working like super early mornings and I was getting up at like 5 a.m., I don't know why that was easier for me. Maybe because it woke me up versus waiting for an entire pot of coffee to kick in, because there's no way you're not awake after that shit. But oh God. I like the hot showers, man. Fuck. So no cheat meals on this thing, though?
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, like when people have cheat meals, it actually makes it harder, right? After the next day or
Hmm.
something after. And so it's like I find too the same thing because I've tried to do similar things where I designed a program for myself in my head. And I always kind of like would wuss out or it'd be like, oh, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna work out every day. But then it never happens. So when you're
Right.
actually like hardcore into this, you're like, there's no excuses, there's no, no setbacks, and the results are phenomenal because it's all like up here and your body starts
Hmm.
not craving those things. If you
Right.
introduce it and then take it away, it's like it's counteractive, it's counter.
Right.
And
It's true.
so
I've been feeling that, recently because, you have a day where I won't say that I was eating terribly, but I'm not eating strictly the way I was.
right.
Um, or it's like too, like when being in the restaurant business, it's like I'm teaching wine classes, and it's not like I'm not going to have a day where I'm drinking wine with a bunch of people and talking about the flavor profiles and so on and so forth. And then it's like, yeah, that can derail everything. Then it messes with your sleep, and so you might have 2 days out of the week where you're like, well, those days were dog shit.
Right.
It's like, but then you 5 power days. Um, none of that feels as bad as like back when I was doing transformation challenges in the past, and I would have like, okay, they would say reward yourself with cheat day. And as you have this one day, you can eat whatever you want. And halfway through the day, after you've grabbed a burger and some French fries or potato chips, you just want to die because your body's so
Yeah.
accustomed to feeling healthy. Um, so then you just feel terrible. So I think that maybe the theory there is that you'll coach yourself out of doing cheat days because you feel so awful when you eat these processed foods and that kind of stuff when you're healthy most of the time.
Right. Yeah, and I think it definitely I it works when you stick with it. And I remember reading something, I think it was in the Compound Effect book, or I can't remember which exact book it was, but it was really good and it stuck with me. It said, no matter what, like you always want to be making this trajectory, even if it's like the small 1%, right?
Hmm.
And one of the things they said was like, never, no matter what it is, like, so all these things in the program, never take 2 days off from it. Like
Right.
you can take one day off or whatever, like in life, it's like, but
Hmm.
don't go more than 2 days. And that stuck with me. And I think
That's
it
a good
will,
one.
because even if I'm like, okay, maybe after this, like if I'm gonna, I'm trying to think with this program now, like how is it gonna completely transform my life from here on out? How am I gonna live my day to day by still like implementing these things, like reading, 10 pages a day, going outside every day, or doing, and I really want to stick to doing both, like 2 sets of exercise. Maybe it doesn't have to be exactly 45 minutes. Maybe they could
Hmm.
be 2 30 minutes or something like that. But I want to stick with the program like for my life. And if you don't deviate, I think more than 2 days off. So it still gives you like, holidays and go doing this, but it
That's
it
true.
just is gonna like keep you in a healthy
Focused.
lifestyle. Hmm.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
like it.
because late night schedule for me makes it difficult because I have like certain days where I'm trying to dial in 2 a days, where I do a cardio aspect in the later into the day, on my weight training days, um, just to speak towards my body type and what my body needs. And it's like, but man, if I don't get a good night's sleep, that derails everything for me. And
Yeah.
that's yes, I think as long as for me, as long as sleep remains a priority and that I get that taken care of, everything
Hmm.
else falls into
Yeah.
place.
It's time management that's the hardest part, I think, of
Yeah.
this for me. With
Oh, good.
anybody.
Shit, man.
So
I think like um, it's kind of something I was going to ask you about because I'm just thinking of it now as I had made this note to myself. I felt like when my daughters were in grade school that sometimes this routine was easier for me
mhm,
because I had to get up in the morning no matter what to make sure I took them to school, and that I would have that time since I had to drop them off so early compared to when I had to be at work. I was able to go in and crank out my gym time, because I just dropped them off. I'm going to drive past the gym on the way home. Might as well stop and take
get
care
it.
of your shit. So
Yeah.
that was, I think, a good, as far as time management and making sure things were lined up for me. That was very helpful.
Yeah.
So, what do I don't know. what your day-to-day routine is for work. Like, how do you balance work and being a mom and doing these 2-a-day kind of things? What are some time management tips that you have for doing those things?
I think the biggest thing was learning to wake up earlier. And that's still the hardest part of it
Hmm.
is like if I can get up and do like that jog early in the morning or get to the gym earlier. That's my goal.
Hmm.
Like last week, I was really good at that, and then this week it tailored off. So it's like I try. Sometimes I'll substitute and I'll do like if I can get up and get that done before 7, then I knock out one of the workouts, and then I'm able from 7 to 8 get my get up, get my son, have like that family time, get my son ready
Hmm.
for school, and then I can hop on. I have some work meetings and things that I do during the day, and then I'm also doing artwork. So it's like I try to schedule out my
Do you work
day.
from home or?
Yeah,
Oh,
so I'm
okay,
home.
that's good.
Yes, which is a lot easier. I have a lot of friends that do the same, that are doing the program. Then they go to work, so same thing. You got to get up early and knock out that first. It's a matter of like that extra hour to get that first
Yeah,
workout done is like critical.
yeah.
And then I do the reading. I use that as bonding time with my son too. So we both
Well,
in the
cool. Get to double
evenings.
up on that then. Yeah.
Yeah, he sits next to me in bed and he's reading Harry Potter and I'm reading my book and then we like exchange notes.
Well, that's good. That good. That
Yeah.
keeps it
So
keeps them engaged with you on that too.
yeah.
That's supportive.
So there's ways to like actually incorporate it into your lifestyle, which is what I've done and I like. But I think like for the remaining rest of it, I'm gonna kind of kick up my workouts a little bit more and make it
Hmm.
more difficult. So, but yeah, it's just a matter of really blocking out and scheduling your time.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm in the same place now that like my body's fully like woken up to doing the routine and to being consistently going into the gym. Now I'm at that point where I'm jonesing for it. Like I'm excited when I go into the gym. So that's cool. Dun, 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 dun. So what's your ultimate goal regarding your journey? You've been going through all this stuff. You're making all this commitment. What's your pseudo end game? It doesn't sound like it's an ultimate end game, but like what are some things you're trying to line up with this?
I think I mean the main thing for me is because I've been through so many health struggles with, my immune system. It's really to the point where getting to live a healthier lifestyle and I mean my mission is really to be able to pass this on and help others with,
Very
like
cool.
what I've gone through, just maintain like a healthier, holistic lifestyle
Hmm.
and be able to inspire others and help them with their journey. So I'd like to continue, learning about the program and going a little further with it. Initially, when I started, I just thought I would do the 75 days and
Hmm.
stop, but like incorporate it into my life. And now that I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm to this place where I'm like, I want to keep going. I want to keep
That's
like
awesome.
push because it's about growth. I feel like life is about growth and contribution. So no matter what you're doing, what your line of work is, there's ways for you to do that. And so I think that's where I'm at with it is I want that with my health journey. I want to inspire other people and I want to keep going with it. And I want like my son to see it and I want him to kind of get on that path. He's not doing the burpees yet. He did it for like a couple weeks and then he stopped. And I've been wanting to do the ice skating. That was like on my list of things we want to go do. So,
I tell
uh,
you what, it's great. It's phenomenal, especially motivating the next generation. We're
yeah,
sitting there being the example, leading the charge, and showing the next generation that it's okay to be healthy. It's okay to do this.
yeah. I love it. I love it. Your kids seem awesome. So thank you for having me on. I don't know if you had any other questions.
Absolutely. I'm just responding to Mark is just getting like logged in here, so I see him
Oh,
starting
okay.
to pop up over here. So, and I'm just looking at the clock because I know you have to pick him up, right? So I know we got to keep you
Yeah,
dialed
my
in.
son's doing soccer practice right now. So, which he's
That's
loved
great.
for years. he's loved it for years and years and years, and now he told me, we had a heart to heart, and he told me he's bored with soccer and he wants to try something different. And I was listening to your guys' show from last time about like martial arts, and that was sort of something I was like toying
Oh
in
yeah.
my head
Yeah.
about maybe seeing if he wants to do that. But yeah,
2000%. I couldn't recommend anything more as far as
Yeah.
confidence and self-discipline. So that's
yeah.
Agreed.
great.
So we'll see what transpires next. But I have been, so with this challenge, the other thing that I wanted to mention too is like how critical a support system and learning from other people just in life in general. It's something that I'm learning, because I was always kind of like, oh, I'll research it, I'll do it myself, I'll, whatever. The reason I'm having great results is because I stepped out of my comfort zone. I found somebody to help me and write a macronutrition plan,
Oh,
like
there you go.
and like ask me all these questions. I'm learning from other people. Like I paid more to go to a better gym that does classes every day, that keeps me accountable. I joined
That's great.
their 8-week program. So like I just want to share with people that are maybe afraid, or it's like, learning from people that are really successful. One of the things that they do is they hire coaches. If you don't know a lot, or you're
Yeah.
afraid and you're like, why is this not working? I'm following this diet, or I'm doing, whatever. Like, I have no clue what I'm doing in the gym. I hadn't been in a gym for maybe, I think, since I was probably 24, 25.
Wow.
And I do. So I was like, I'm way over my head. If I'm going to do this challenge, like, I need to be accountable. I need to go to, so I do these classes. They tell me everything to do. It's like a small group with an instructor, and they tell me how I'm doing it wrong, like how I'm lifting wrong and what to change and all these things. And
Well,
like,
that's great.
they did a strength assessment for me, I think, like when I started like this 8-week challenge. So it's going to put me past the 75 hard. So they do the strength assessment, the InBody, all this stuff. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And I highly like, I'm going to take my money that I was spending on like some wine, and I'm going to spend it here, and I'm getting
How
much
dare
more
you?
out of it. So I do recommend that for anybody. Like, yeah, ask somebody that knows more than you, whatever it's for, whatever aspect of life, like learn, and you'll find that you'll grow at, you know, a faster rate, and you'll see results faster if you actually listen to people.
Awesome. I agree. Especially when you get to that point where you start figuring out at least the questions that you need to be asking, and then to get into that place where you get those answers, like you were just giving the examples you were giving. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think by the end of this, maybe I'll be comfortable to like get a regular membership at a gym and be able to figure things out, or get stuff at home and do it with my son.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. I
that's
definitely
more of like
recommend that even
my,
just to be around other people that are working out,
yeah.
that by itself can be motivating. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I concur on that one.
Yeah, it's taken me a long time to get to a point where I just felt comfortable and I felt I would stay disciplined enough to follow through on things when I didn't have that crowd to. I don't want to talk to anybody when I go to the gym, but I just like knowing that there was other people there working out. Just that nonverbal support of that was good. Get that, this kind of thing. So
See,
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I like going to the gym to talk to people. I like finding people to go with me, and we discuss and we work out together. I like that type of aspect, the social aspect.
see,
As long as they're wiping their seats down.
give it up.
Right. That's
Re-rack your weights.
rack
No
your weight,
psychos.
wipe your seats. I like where I'm going, because I see these other moms and I see women my age, and they're just like crushing it doing these CrossFit
Right?
classes, and I'm like, okay, they're like, there's people of all ages. There's women that are like, clearly in their 60s, and they just look
Yeah. When you see like a
ripped.
really old person just crushing it, you're like, I'm
Yeah.
a piece of shit. It's like I need to level up.
It makes you work really hard, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm like the weak link. I need to pick it up.
Dude, I went to the gym one day and there was a guy with one leg in there doing the lap pull down bar. I just walked past him. I'm like, you just took away everyone's excuses.
Yeah, no
So I was like, dude.
excuses. Just go for it. So that's one thing I learned is like having that group environment definitely yeah, it helped for sure. So it's been key. And I think that's been like it's been part of my enjoyment with it, you know, transforming it from something that used to like I used to never work out and I would think of it as like painful painful experience.
I remember those days.
And so now it's yeah, just the way I think about it and the approach is completely different.
Very cool.
So
All right. Well, Sarah, thank you for
thank
joining
you.
us tonight. Hope traffic's not too bad to go get the boy. Hope he had fun playing soccer.
Oh yeah, it's right down the street.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. So, well, everyone else, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get Mr. Goldman dialed in so he can come back up. But Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you, Sarah.
I like
night.
all the fun questions too today. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, bye. All right, for the Resoluters at home, we are about to welcome Mr. Mark Goldman to the show, and so he'll be with us in just a moment. But we're going to have a little moment to bring you a commercial from one of our sponsors.
Dig it.
If I can get to this share screen. Dun, 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 dun. Boom. Access their YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The world of investing can be a jungle. Bull, bears, danger at every turn. That's why we at Stratton Oakmont pride ourselves on being the best. Trained professionals to guide you through the financial wilderness. Stratton Oakmont. Stability. Integrity. Pride.
Bitchin'.
Happy Monday, buddy. Welcome to the show, Mark. Glad to have you on.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's the world treating you?
World's treating me all right, man. That was a great ad, dude. Loved it.
Fucking love that movie.
Great ad. So that was cracking me up. Doing well, man. Life's treating me well. It's just got my son to bed Monday night.
Nice. How's fatherhood?
Fatherhood is the best. I love being a dad. It's by far one of the most rewarding things on this planet you could ever be. And it's so much fun. Our son is almost 7.
Oh, that's a great age.
It's a great age. And it's so much fun to read books to him because you get to watch his brain work through his eyes while you're reading to him. And it's just so much fun. And he's my little guy. So he's my small Mark. And love spending time with him. So I relish these moments, man. They come and they go quickly.
Oh, I know, man. I feel the same way. I mean, if you can believe this, I have a grandson now. And
yeah, hold on.
He is. You got it?
Yeah, my lighting's all weird. Yeah, I know. I see your pictures of your grandson. That's crazy.
Dude, 11 months old now. I'm just like, where did that go? Like, I felt like I was just there holding him, last year. And here we are. It's just going by so fast.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
For those of you guys walking at home, Mark and I worked together in the late 90s. At Denver.
Like 97, 98, something like that.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, fucking forever. Jesus.
Oh.
It's like, that happened. I was like, so it's just so wild that we're still in touch, technology and Facebook and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I remember just back in the day talking shit, waiting tables together at the old P.F. Chang's and Littleton there outside of Denver.
A lot of
So,
music conversations, man.
oh yeah,
Tons of music conversations.
Dude, I just remembered. I pulled out. I'm just missing the one main picture. Mark and I
Okay.
actually worked on a comic book project together that he was writing and that I was
Mhm.
drawing. And I'm missing the one picture. I think it's
Cool.
still in the box somewhere. I have to finish going through it. And
No
I was just
worries.
gonna HP scan that stuff and send it over to you.
That's
And it'll
amazing.
be like a document versus like a photograph.
Yeah,
But
that's amazing.
yeah, dude, it's so crazy.
It is crazy. And yeah, I'm glad that we have social media because there were a lot of really neat people and a lot of really cool people that worked at PF Chang's over in Park Meadows when we were there. So it's good to be able to keep in touch with y'all. And it's interesting to see how everybody's lives paths went. So
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. What was I going to say? I know you're still DJing it though, right? I remember
yeah.
Mark was a DJ for the Hard Rock station there locally in Denver when we first met. And where are you at on the East Coast?
I'm in Philadelphia. I do
Go
2
Eagles!
shifts. Yes. Philadelphia.
Nice.
Yes. Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Like what?
I don't know. I don't know. People eat cheesesteaks, enjoy them.
Oh Jesus, the cholesterol's just off the charts there in
People
Philly.
eat it, yeah, but the people are tough and strong, man. I
I
love
know, man.
this city. This city is a great city. It's a close city and it's very unique. I've been for the last 20 years on the air, mostly part-time at WMMR in Philadelphia. It's a 54-year-old rock station. It's a heritage rock station. It's a wonderful place to be, and even though the business is changing a lot, I'm fortunate that I still have 2 shifts a week for now. So I'm excited, and I still love going in every night. And then I do audio production work on the side. Also, I
Oh,
also do
cool.
audio production work for a couple of companies, and then one of my radio partners, a good friend of mine, and I that have worked in radio here in Philadelphia together for the last 2 decades, do a podcast called the Imbalanced History of Rock and Roll, and I love working with him. He's got like
Dude, I
10
need
years.
it. When does that go on?
It's every Monday we drop. It's you can get it on every podcast. It's just we pre-record it and pump it out, and we talk about everything from Motown and Miles Davis and the blues to Led Zeppelin, the Beatles.
Imbalanced history of rock and roll.
The Imbalanced History of Rock and Roll. And we talk about, like, recently we released an episode about Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, and their importance on music moving forward, and just some of the things that they did that really changed the ball game. So it was pretty fun, and it's so much fun. I get to read, I get to learn, and I really, really like that aspect. I think one of the things that keeps us young as we get older is learning. I think staying healthy as you can, but I think learning really helps because you got to keep your mind young. You got to keep your brain young. As young as
I couldn't agree more.
Got a Facebook comment from David Witten. He's watching. He said it's a great podcast.
Oh, thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate it.
Oh wow, right on.
Appreciate it, Dave.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dave and Jeff and I went to high school together.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you on the left coast, Dave?
He's in Washington.
The state of Washington,
Washington
Seattle.
State. Yeah.
Great music scene back in the 90s and 80s. Some incredible music. And they still have some great bands pumping out of Seattle these days, too. Aaron Jones is a young rock and roller who's got it. He's fantastic. So good stuff in the music world.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't even know that you did a podcast, and I'm very excited just based on the nature of what it is.
Yeah, it's just a lot of overviews, and it's really fun. The guy I work with is a wealth of knowledge. He's got 10 more years of radio experience and life experience than I do, and he's seen some pretty golden things during the 80s and 90s that he got to experience here in Philadelphia. So I'm pretty stoked that Ray Koob is my partner, and I love working with him. He's a lot of fun to work with, and we're very different, so we complement each other well on the air, which is nice.
Very cool. Now I'm excited.
That's awesome.
And then yeah, it's kind of funny. You and I kind of reconnected through Instagram
Hmm.
because I was scrolling through one night and you were doing you were live as a DJ
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Instagram and you were sharing some of the tracks that you were doing. That's when we started chatting.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of funny how this is all coming together.
Yeah.
And then I checked out your Facebook page again, and you were mentioning about your marathons and seeing all these kind of competition
Yeah.
things that you were getting into. So
I,
how did that come together?
I do a lot of I do a lot of I'm very actively involved with the American Cancer Society.
Very
I
cool.
I've been participating in the American Cancer Society Bikeathon for about 17 years.
Wow.
It came about through doing the public affairs show on WMMR. I interviewed the people from the ACS Bikeathon like 2006, 2005, and they're like, "Hey, participate with the team next year. Make MMR a team." So I got a team together, and we had 9 riders, and it was a great
Badass.
first. It seriously, it was a great first year, and this last year we've had like 200 riders the last 3 years, 4 years,
Wow.
and it's an amazing ride. We ride about 66.6 miles. How rock and roll is that?
Fucking
From
yeah, dude.
Philadelphia to the
Awesome.
Atlantic City shore to the AC shore. So it's a great
Wow.
ride. Most of it's back roads, but we also get a little bit of a highway ride as well, which is nice. And it's beautiful. We get to ride through the blueberry farms in that part of Jersey, and it's amazing. The smells are so nice when you ride through
Wow.
those
I could be
farms.
down for that. I miss biking. I haven't had a bike for a minute with this city life.
That's
Houston in general, you wouldn't want to ride a bicycle here outside of a park. These people are lunatics on the road.
Dude, I live in Philadelphia.
Do you
Let
have
me
bike
tell you
lanes there? They
about
don't have bike
lunacy on
lanes
the
here.
road. But
They
there's a
they
huge
encourage
biking
drunk
community.
driving in this city.
Really? Is it bad out there? Is drunk driving?
Oh man, I live in like this kind of Beverly Hillsy area where my
Yeah.
apartment's at. There's all these restaurants and so on. Down
Oh yeah.
when I used to commute versus living here, I hated leaving work at night because you get into that 10 o'clock and after window.
Mm.
People that are just pulling out of the parking lot garages, by braille. Yeah,
Yep.
it's like the cops are sitting there going, "Nah, no big deal." And I was just Texas, dude. I remember growing up here as a little kid, and it wasn't any different. But
Wow.
I had forgotten like how it gets. Like if you see someone pulled over, like going through a drunk test here, like on
Yep.
the side of the road, it's rare, and that person must have really fucked up.
Wow.
So, but
I
yeah.
Drunk driving's no joke. I got hit by a drunk driver 12 years ago. My back's messed up, so I'm in the
Oh
middle
man,
of doing
I did too.
activities.
When I
So
was when I was living in Maryland, I got hit by a drunk driver. Ran me right through coming through an intersection. Yeah, same thing. The
yeah,
guy literally says to me when he gets out of the car, "Man, I even took the back roads, and this still happened."
no,
I was going
yeah,
20 miles an hour, just trying not to give this
yeah.
guy a chance not to hit me.
Uh,
No such luck.
yeah. Hence your cell phone number. It makes sense
Oh
because you're
yeah,
in
yeah.
that area. So I was like, this ain't no Texas number when I saw your cell phone number.
No,
So
no. I lived just outside of DC when before I relocated here to Houston.
cool.
Like yeah, so that kind of stuff. So this business, it'll take you all over.
Oh yeah, it's like radio, man. It's the same way. You move around a lot, especially if you want to check out a lot of new. There are a lot of great cities with a lot of great food right now. So a
Oh
lot
my
of excellent chefs out there.
I agree. I agree. It was kind of nice to get to go home out of Denver. But then once I got into the hotel game, when you do hotels, I mean, that's just, you can go anywhere. So
Hmm.
a lot of fun.
Awesome, very
So
good.
got into the marathon thing, the biking thing. Hey,
Yep.
what's some of your recent stuff? What's on your playlist? Like when you're doing your runs and or your bike runs and everything.
When I ride my bike, I don't have a headphones on, but when I spin, I always have stuff on my playlist. Rammstein is one of the bands that I put on my
No,
playlist.
Jeff's getting excited now.
One of my favorites.
Dude,
that's my workout playlist.
dude, they're the best live band in the business right now.
Wow.
Their live show. We took our son for his first concert was Rammstein this last summer.
No way. That's
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
and he was blown away by the sensory overload. Is even a lot for adults because you have the fire,
Mm-hmm.
you have the confetti, you have the sound effects, you have everything there, and it's just insane. The videos, the lights, it's just crazy, and it's an amazing vibe. Their live concert vibe is like nobody else's in the business. So I'm listening to them a lot, but one of my all-time favorite bands now over the last decade has become Rival Sons. I think they're absolutely top-notch. Their singer, Jay Buchanan, is one of the best in the business currently. Just an amazing voice, soulful and deep and just
Rival
beautiful
Sons. I
band.
don't know them.
Oh, they're so
I
good.
gotta
I've
check
been
that
listening
out.
to a lot of the new Jack White stuff that he's been putting out,
Mhm.
his solo records. Fear of the Dawn from last year is one of my favorite albums of the last few years. Just an incredible ripper. The guitar work is insane. And then he released a second album in 2022 as well that's really good. The Black Keys have Dropout Boogie, which is a great record. There's Dorothy, who's got a couple of good records out. She's got a new album coming out. I'm trying to think who else do I. Aaron Jones out of Seattle, I really like. Gary Clark Jr. out of Texas is pretty awesome.
I took my daughter to see Tool
Ah,
right before the pandemic. That was one of the most impressive shows that I've seen. We were talking about all the
dude,
visuals and
was,
stuff.
was that with Killing Joke opening up for him?
I don't remember. I feel like they didn't have an opening band,
Okay,
which was not common. But they did a super long set. It was right
yeah.
when the whole Numa album came out,
Yeah.
or they were
Yeah,
on that
we saw him on
tour.
the Numa tour as well, and they had Killing Joke in Philadelphia, and that show was incredible. They're supposed to be coming back again sometime in the near
I
future.
saw the announcement that they're out. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see them again. Another band that always brings it live. The Struts are another really fun live band to go see. They got that kind of Queen David Bowie vibe going, and it's really good crowd participation.
I think the last show I saw was I saw Pearl Jam in Arizona last year.
Nice.
I finally got around because they rescheduled because the pandemic and everything.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'd never seen them. They were on my bucket list, and I was flying to Phoenix to see some family. And I had a buddy of mine that had seen Pearl Jam in San Diego the day before, and we had been while I was waiting for my flight, we were chatting on Facebook. But oh man, I always wanted to see these guys. Da, 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 da. And he saw me check in on Facebook that my flight was going to Phoenix. So when I landed, you get to turn your Wi-Fi and everything back
Yeah.
on. And the first thing I saw was a little notification from his comment going, well, they're playing in Phoenix tonight if you just landed there. And I literally was on the tarmac and I was going to go to dinner with my nephew. And I just went, well, oh my God, can I even get seats? It's like in a few hours. And then,
Did
but
you
there's tons of seats because it had been a rebooking and they couldn't sell out the stadium and everything. So swooped some seats right on the side of the stage, called my nephew, mom, so we're going, right? He's like, you're fucking got it right. We're going. So that was
Nice.
it. So we had a great time.
Yeah. They're a great live band night in and night out. One of the great ones in the business, without a doubt. Bruce Springsteen, if he comes your way, I highly recommend you go see him. You've got 3 to 4 hours of just great rock and roll.
Wow,
And
that's
it
that
is
long the
a
set is?
fun
That's amazing.
dude, before the pandemic, he played a bunch of 3.5, 4 hour sets.
Wow.
Foo Fighters are going back on the road. They've made those announcements, which is nice. I can't remember the name of the drummer. It's the dude from The Darkness is I think replacing Taylor Hawkins.
Okay.
Justin Hawkins, I think is his name. Is that correct?
I don't know.
I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. But he's really good drummer too, and I'm excited to see them again. Another band that puts on a 2.5, 3 hour show where you sing along every single song. And if they come back, we'll take our son to that show too, because he likes the guy who says a lot of bad words. So,
That's awesome.
but
Oh man, that is so cool. Hey, we actually, I don't know, I don't know how often or if you've tuned into the show very much. We actually have a musical guest on each episode of our podcast. So we've got a musician that'll be playing later tonight that did an original track for us.
nice.
Franco Maganoli. He grew up in kind of like the hip hop scene in Brooklyn,
Nice.
and so he's about our age. So he's been doing this for a minute, but he's played with a number of bands between Brooklyn, Jersey, and then he's been taking me to these open mic nights here in Houston where it's like it's all musicians. It's all
Yeah.
accomplished musicians that show up and they mix it up with the different band pieces,
Mhm.
just improv. So
Oh,
he's
that's great.
Yeah, so anyway, that's all fun. But so us talking about music for a very long period of time is no derailing for
Oh
anything.
yeah.
We do that all the
Oh, I love talking about music. We talk about it for hours.
most definitely.
So
Fucking,
definitely.
I always remember that what the fuck you were all into Beck back then. You fucking used
Yeah.
to they did that two Chang's chickens and a wonton bowl. You used to always stay on
Yep.
the air when you were
Oh
dancing with
yeah, we used to
Beck.
love that one. That was great working at PF Chang's playing that one. And I ended up seeing him here in Philly like in the early 2000s, and they did the puppet show set where the first half of the show was a puppet show of Beck and his band
No
playing the
way!
songs. They were
What the
backstage
fuck?
playing the songs, and then they came out and played the songs. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Seriously amazing. So
That's
yes.
very cool.
Beck great. I haven't heard a lot of his newer stuff. Waiting for a new Radiohead album. They haven't put one out in a long ass
Yeah,
time.
I'd love to hear that.
Trying to think who else. Queens of the Stone Age should be getting some new music from them. Also, there are
Seriously.
rumors that Caius might do a final tour since
Fucking
we
yeah,
never
dude.
afforded a.
Jeff, Mark totally got me into Caius. Like first time, I remember when we were working together some shift. He's like, "So have you ever heard of Caius?" I'm like, "Who's that?" And he looked at me like I just punched his mother.
Dude, you knew a lot of music back then. I
Yeah.
was probably surprised that you didn't know them because you knew your shit. You still know your shit about music. So yeah,
All
I
the
was
old
probably
school stuff. Anything
surprised.
was rock and heavy, I
Yeah.
tried to. That's still a part of the routine. So yeah.
Mhm.
Fucking so what's I mean, take your boy to the shows. Like what do you does your boy get involved with the biking or anything like that? Do you guys do any
He
like fitness stuff?
he does a little bit of biking. He swims. He doesn't like competitive sports like soccer, or baseball. So he swims
Well,
and he
he's still
loves.
little. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah, he loves the water though. Like he loves being in the water. And I don't do much weightlifting anymore, so I bike and swim,
Well, that's great.
and I try to do by the time spring comes around, my goal is to be doing a mile a day, twice to three times a week in the water. So
Wow, that's
right now
awesome.
I'm doing a half a mile right now, and I need to drop like 15 pounds. I gained some weight this winter, but
Your
it
insulation,
happens.
baby.
Yep, the insulation, not going to shows as much, stuff like that. And then I do the spin bike 2 or 3 days a week too. So and then if it breaks 40, we'll be outside riding. There's a few few spots we can ride unless it's windy. Because then the cold wind sucks, man. Especially when you get
Yeah.
old, dude. Man, that stuff wrecks you.
I'm
Ah.
spoiled between living in Denver and Southern California. And, it's
Yeah.
just like I'm such a bitch about it's too humid, it's freezing. Well, it's like you never know what the weather's going to be here in Houston. But I want it to warm up enough where the pool makes sense because I miss swimming. I love swimming. Like your boy, my middle daughter, she's always been in love with swimming. She was on the swim team in
Awesome.
high school and that kind of stuff. So the little water babies. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. But yeah, no, like I know that, and look, I know as I get older, I should be doing a little bit more weight exercise, especially with the like doing a lot more light weights and high reps because you need the
Good for your
muscle
bone
tone as
density
you
and
get
stuff.
older.
Yeah,
Absolutely, bone density and muscle tone.
you're gonna break a
So
hip.
sometimes I feel like I'm walking with a broken hip these days, man. Those days, and I think working in the restaurant business beats your body up too.
Well, at least you're getting your steps in. Like you're walking
Yeah.
around. It's gotta get the
Yes.
right shoes. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you do. But
It's not like,
still,
dude.
man, it's a hard physical job. So
Yeah, fuck. Especially, dude, when we were at Chang's carrying those big ass fucking trays. A
yep,
lot of
and no
high-rise
bus
restaurants
tubs.
don't do
Yep,
that.
no
Oh
bus tubs.
yes,
You had to carry the dishes back on the trays. No
exactly.
bus tubs. No
I
bus tubs.
still have an injury in this shoulder from food running at PF Chang's in Denver.
Are you serious?
Dude, because my shoulders bulked up and I got overconfident, and I'm like, I'm gonna take 5 wonton bowls with my left hand because I know when I'm cranking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it over here because I don't care, and just kink, I'm just like, oh, I'm fucked. It's not huge, but I know it's like when I go to lift something heavy, when I get to about right there, I'm like, we're not doing that anymore. We're coming right.
At least you get a warning sign.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just enough for that. But to that, well, I was what, 22, 23 years old when that happened, and I'm still like,
I know.
So shit sticks with you.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. So, Master Jedi, you've been very silent throughout all of this. What's your deal?
I got to keep my phone or my microphone on mute because my son's blasting his YouTube in the background. So that's why I've been keeping it
How's
quiet.
your guy?
He's 8. He's 8.
Nice. What's he
So
watching?
he's watching something silly, probably Unspeakable or Preston or one of these other guys on YouTube. He likes that type of thing.
Right on.
Yeah, but music scene for me, man. I haven't been to a concert. Last concert I went to, I hate to say it, I took my daughter on her birthday to Kesha and LMFAO, and yeah, that was an experience. Taking my when she turned 7 or 8 at that time, and I took her to the Kesha concert, and that was probably the most inappropriate thing I've ever done with my daughter.
Hey, was it that wild? I don't know.
It was nuts. LMFAO was completely dirty. The Speedos, dicks hanging out all over the place, dildos on the heads, just running around the stage. It was like, the hell is going on? I think they were pretty coked up at the time, to be honest with you. But before that, the last concert I had been to for myself was I used to be married to Chester Bennington's cousin. So we went to Ozfest and saw Linkin Park live at Ozfest, and that was it's been a while.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
One of my good buddies back in Orange County grew up with Chester. I used to do house sitting for him and stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
When we were hanging out back when they were
I
going.
saw them when they before they broke on the scene, they opened up for Taproot out here at Canes over Mission Beach.
Nice.
They opened up for Taproot, and I was like, holy cow, I've never heard this sound before. This is amazing. You got this rap rock. You brought the house down, and it was then right after that they blew up, man. They just blew up. It was like, holy cow.
I remember that. That was it was like the year I moved back to San Diego from Denver. It was like Linkin Park was everywhere. I was working at the P.F. Chang's in La Jolla, so that was always like the In the End or whatever. That was like our battle song we playing in the office. Like, during
man.
That was
Good
cool.
stuff.
I got to meet Chester when he was singing with Stone Temple Pilots. They did one of our concerts, so I got to meet him backstage. He was a really nice guy, really quiet, really humble, really down to earth, just a good human being.
Amazing guy.
You could tell, you could tell he was a solid dude. And then he had a couple interviews with our midday guy, Pierre Robert, who's been doing on air at MMR for over 40 years. Just an amazing talent. Should have a wall in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Chester had a really nice relationship, and Chester was always wonderful when he came by the station to speak.
Yeah.
And his loss really hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had some demons. His whole family had demons, man. It's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's all of Southern California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. You mentioned Rammstein earlier. I think, did you remember, Jeff, when we had Janine Priester on our show?
Yeah.
Like the next week or something when she was on the show, she went to Rammstein. That was last year. But I remember that.
Was it last September? Was it last September? Because I think they were out west September of last year.
It should have been like that because she had mentioned she bought the tickets when we were on the show. It was earlier last year for our first season. I know her and her fiance went to the show. I remember seeing their pictures and everything. And she was in the military, in the army, and she was based in Germany at one point. So I think that coincided when they kind of came out. And so I think she had seen them in Germany before. So that was pretty wild. But I just remember her mentioning that when she was on the show last time.
Yeah, my brother told me about it. He went to one of the Rammstein shows. He was just like, it's the most amazing thing you'll ever see in your life.
Absolutely. And seeing them in their home country of Germany with like 1 million people at one of those big, amazing rock festivals that they do in Europe, that would be heaven. Heaven.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
I think I went to Inland Invasion one year out in the desert in Southern California. And I think Susie and the Banshees headlined. So Billy Idol was one of the opening bands, which was cool. It was Muse, as our first album had just come out.
That was Muscle Museum and all that, right?
I don't remember because it's been so
Muscle
long.
Museum was on that album. That first album. I did not dig them. It was the second or third album that they finally grew on.
Yeah, it had like Hysteria on it. We were getting tore back in the parking lot, a bunch of us changers from the Irvine location. So we missed Muse
live,
in person.
They're great
they
live.
sounded great.
Oh. They're great
But
live. And then, like,
that was
did
awesome.
you ever see the Deftones in those days?
Oh,
No, but
man.
I saw
Go
a
see them.
small club with I went to see Quicksand here in Houston, and the bass player from the Deftones was filling in for them at the
Yeah,
show.
Sergio.
So
He was with Quicksand before, and then he recently left the Deftones, and they have a new bass player.
oh wow, okay.
Go see them. They're
Oh,
so
always
good
wanted to.
live.
Always
Go
wanted
see
to.
them live. Oh, they're so good. Also, if Gojira and Mastodon are coming your way, do not miss that show.
Don.
Oh
Oh,
man, I
man.
love Mastodon. I
They're
absolutely
so
love
good live.
Mastodon.
And Gojira, French activist metal, man. That shit is the bomb.
Dude, I have to because I call her my bar daughter because she's a girl that I adopted here,
Cool.
and I had something come up so I couldn't go, but her boyfriend is the sound engineer for Gojira and Lamb of God. So I was supposed to go like side stage to see Lamb of God when they were here recently, so I didn't do. But I know when Gojira comes through that she's like, you're coming. You didn't come to the last one, kind of thing. So that should be a
You're
lot of fun.
going. You can't miss that show. You have to go. They're great live. And yeah, I got to interview Randy Blythe when his book came out a bunch of years back, and he was a blast to talk to.
Nice.
Smart dude. Smart dude.
They had that new album that's come out over the past year, so I remember burning through it like when her and I started talking, because I hadn't listened to anything by Gojira or Lamb of God for a while, so I was getting back into all their stuff. So that was great, and I just did my daughter Cora, my oldest. You'll remember her; she was 5 last time you saw her.
Yeah.
She sought me over a track in the middle of the night, going, you need to check out Mastodon because this is an amazing track. And they're just like, now we just feed each other Mastodon tracks. But
That's so great.
so they're the shit. Love it.
Yeah. And Opeth, if you get a chance to see them, go see them.
Very cool.
One of the times I saw Mastodon was Mastodon, Gojira, and Opeth together. I was like,
Fuck yeah.
oh my God. And then Michael Ockerfeld talks in between the sets, and he's got the most beautiful baritone voice you've ever heard. And you're just like, oh my God, that voice is hypnotic. And then he sings, and you're like, whoa. And he goes all over the place with his range. Such a great live band, too.
Dude, speaking of range, I saw Maiden here, so that was great. Me and my buddy Ray, who went to high school with Jeff and I, relocated here not too long before I got here. So that's my concert buddy. We'll go see the the shows or whatever. So he's the one that got me into seeing Quicksand, which we've seen twice.
Good.
Maiden, Tool. So I feel like I'm neglecting a show or 4. But yeah.
Also, if Living Color gets your way, go see them. They still have it live.
Oh my God, I would love to.
They're still touring?
I know.
Yeah,
I
they
see it
still
pop
tour.
up sometimes when I'm going through Ticketmaster or like the shows that are coming through, and I'm like, "You're shitting me!"
Go see them. They still have it, and they just wreck the crowds when they play. They just go like boom. And they released a couple of albums in the last decade that are pretty good too.
I remember YouTube Music, like I burned through. I can't remember it now because it's been a while since I first noticed that they had new shit. But I remember going through it and digging it. Very cool.
Yep, they did a cover.
First time I saw Maiden was actually in Red Rocks when we still lived in Denver. Rob Halford and Queensryche opened for Maiden at Red Rocks.
You hear me?
Oh, that was Rob Halford's solo after he left. And was Jeff Tate singing for Queensryche at that time?
Okay, that was he was still singing for them. It was actually the Sign of the Times tour, so DeGarmo was still with them too.
Oh, good. I saw them a couple of times in Philly play a couple of small places, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I've seen Reich probably like 4 or 5 times. That was my first show. I saw the Empire tour. They did Mindcrime in its entirety, which was awesome. And we were just a bunch of metalheads, just geeked out, super into them. My buddy Nasser that I went to school with we started playing drums together. So Rockenfeld was it for us. But we knew the lyrics to the B-sides. So like in between sets between Empire and Mindcrime, they played Last Time in Paris from the Ford Fairlane soundtrack, and we knew all the words. And we were like on the level, like we're just rocking out, singing all the words, like hanging over the rail. Jeff Tate grabs the light and he puts it on us. And he's like, "Fuck yeah!" Because no one knew that song back then. They were just like,
oh, that's great.
We knew we were geeking out with it. So that was my first show. So that was my great concert memory.
That's an impressive first show.
Fuck yeah, dude. I wanted to put laser lights in my house after that.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
My first show was Cypress Hill Beastie Boys at the old open air theater.
Cypress Hill. Wow.
I saw Cypress Hill and Tool together back in.
Oh,
Oh,
but
what?
it was on the Anima tour. It was
No
crazy.
way.
Yeah, they played the Fillmore in Denver, dude, before you
The
started
Fillmore.
working at PF Chang's.
Wow.
It was right. It was before it opened. It was like a year before it opened. Also, I was supposed to. What was the name of that restaurant next to PF Chang's?
Champs?
Yeah, I was supposed to open that place too, but then they were like first night of training or Soundgarden, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go see Soundgarden. I kid you not.
I saw
And then
Soundgarden
I
open for Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking love Soundgarden.
Oh yeah, I saw them a couple times on the Lollapalooza days when Jim Rose was on it. Right before Soundgarden went on, we were watching Jim Rose on the side stage, and right when Jim Rose stuck the needle through his thorax, some dude fainted on my shoulder. I was like, "What?" Oh yeah, it was crazy. And then we're like, "Uh-oh, Soundgarden's coming on," and we took off. So.
The thorax. It was like seen in
yeah.
what fucking
he was like, yeah, because he stopped talking mid sentence and
neck.
that freaked the dude out, man. He was like, Jim Rose was in the middle of a sentence going blah, 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 blah. And you're like, what just happened?
That is nuts.
So, yeah, it was crazy. And then one of those years, Gibby Haynes had a pop shotgun and he was shooting it at the crowd with the Butthole Surfers. That dude writes young adult novels, and he wrote one that was absolutely bonkers, man. I felt like I was on acid when I read it, and then I had to interview him, and that was more like an acid trip too. It was crazy, but it was fun. He's rad. He's really smart too.
Very cool.
So.
You mentioned the Fillmore. I remember I saw Bad Religion open for Blink 182. As definitely you're talking about like inappropriate concerts, dude. That Enema of the State tour, it was just a big hodgepodge of Karate Kid clips and Porky's. Remember Porky's from the 80s?
Oh yeah. Don't pay me, pay the bartender, you ridiculous dude. That's hilarious.
Fuck yeah, dude. When I moved back to Denver, not Mark Hoppus. What's the other one?
Not Hoppus, Tom DeLonge.
Tom, yeah. So Tom ended up becoming. He used to bring his mom into the PF Chang's in La Jolla all the time. So I got to know him a little bit with him and his mom coming in there. So that was cool.
Did he act like a total maniac when he was with his mom, or was he super well behaved and
he
chill?
He was super well behaved. It was
Mom,
family time.
Sorry, Mom. Yeah. I won't embarrass you, Mom.
Just totally doted on his mom, and he was just a normal human being. So
they're nice guys. They're nice guys, and they've had some interesting experiences on the road, talking about like tripping and going to look for Bigfoot and UFO on tour stops all over the country.
I'm sure. Like DeLonge was all over the place with the UFO shit.
Totally. He's done some government work too. So
yeah. I saw some documentary where they were talking about him being involved at some point about some kind of disclosure kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Hoppus just beat cancer. So
yeah.
Good for him.
And then they're back together. DeLonge got back together with Blink. So I'm going to see that. That tour's coming out soon here to Houston. I know that.
Do you see how ridiculously expensive tickets are? Oh my God.
No, I haven't seen them. I'm not sure that they've actually gone on sale for Houston yet. So they're nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Like like Taylor Swift type of concert, but not that high. I mean, like crazy prices though.
I think I'm going to have to grab a wine vendor and go, if you want continued business, you better throw me some seats.
That's not a bad idea.
That's how I got, my boy hooked me up for R40 for Rush's farewell tour right before I moved to DC. So I actually flew back and Jeff, that was with Nasser and his brother George. And then Collier, we all went to that show.
That's sick.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that R40 tour was rad. I saw it in Philadelphia. I got to see them like 4 or 5 times through the station over the last 20 years, and I was like, oh.
I think I've seen it about that many times. That was my second concert I ever went to was the Roll the Bones. I remember that.
What a great tour! Yeah, and I was stoked because my wife
was open for them too.
Oh, I love Primus. I saw Primus many times in the 90s. Oh my God.
The
They
pandemic
got
ruined it though, man, because I had the tickets and then they rescheduled everything, so I let them go. But when Primus was doing their ode to Neil Peart and they covered
yeah.
Farewell to Kings,
hmm
I wanted to see that show. But
Yeah, they'll come back out and do it again, and then the Lennon Claypool thing that they've been doing with Sean Lennon and
oh
Les
yeah,
Claypool.
I forgot.
That
I
thing's
just saw that.
crazy. Mr. Bungle's going on the road in May again,
Mr.
which I can't
Bungle.
wait for. Faith
That's
No
mandatory.
More, I saw
Clar
a
loves
couple
them.
times recently. They played
Faith
Philly.
no more. Holy
Dude,
cow.
they need to go back on the road again. Their last album, which I can't remember how long ago it was released, was so good.
Oh
And
my
Yeah,
I
God.
love
mad
Faith
reviews.
No More. The Cult I've seen a few times over the last few
Yeah,
years
Cole's got new shit.
before the pandemic, and they're still really good. Billy Duffy plays amazing guitar. Ian Astbury sounds really good, but can't hit the high notes as well. But again, he's 60 years old, so his voice is changing, but he
Crazy.
still sounds really good, and he's still got a lot of power in his vocals. Alice in Chains still sounds great live.
Oh man, that was the show at the Fillmore that I missed. Was it was Jerry Cantrell with Chris DeGarmo as his guitar player from Queensryche. This was after
Mhm.
he left Reich, and I think Lars Ulrich was his drummer.
Jerry Cantrell's.
Yeah, it was just a solo tour. There was no album to correspond with it, no original work. They just put together
Wow,
a tour, and
That's an all-star cast.
I
that's
think
pretty
they
impressive.
opened for Metallica at the Fillmore there in Denver.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
kids were little back then, so I had to pass on that one. But yeah, I'm just like, and then like later you start thinking about two shows that I missed that I just definitely should have got, that I should have just ate it and got the tickets, was that one. And then when I decided I need to save money and be prudent. And when I didn't buy my seat for the Division Bell tour for Pink Floyd when I lived in Southern California, just
Have Have you been to any of the Roger Waters shows, The Wall or the
no,
Dark
no, I
Side of the
haven't.
Moon? Oh,
No,
they're
I've been hearing great
fantastic.
things.
They're so good. The Wall building is fantastic. Like I saw it when he did the anniversary of the Wall. He did two stops in Philly. One of them was at the Link, and that's the football stadium, and then the other one was at the Wells Fargo Center, the big arena. And they were both great, but boy, the outdoor show at the football stadium was so much bigger and crazy the way they built the wall during the show. It was a
Wow.
blast. And
Remember,
when
yeah.
they did when they actually played the wall, when the wall went down, one of the bands that played with them and did a lot of stuff with them was the Hooters from Philadelphia.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool, all local and shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It was like a couple years ago. It was since I moved here to Houston. I got into a Roger Waters kick for like a few weeks, or just listening through like him doing all the solo work of the
hmm
original Pink Floyd stuff. And I remember when we were in high school, dude, Jeff, I had like every Pink Floyd album, just like all the David Gilmour solo albums, and just like
You and Dave Whitten, man. Dave
Dude,
Whitten
Dave
was all
Gilmour.
into that.
Dave Gilmour's great though. His solo work has always been top notch.
yeah,
Always been top notch, and his guitar work is magnificent. If you ever go to YouTube, look under the Secret Policeman's third ball. David Gilmour plays the guitar on Running Up That Hill with Kate Bush back in like 87,
what
88. His guitar work is
running up
so
that hill with Kate
insane.
Bush?
Yeah, well, he was one of the guys who he kind of not founded her, but he noticed her and was like, this person has it, and he helped her in the early days of her career and really worked
Wow.
with her. Yeah.
To see that come full circle nowadays with like the whole Stranger Things and like how
hmm
big that
Yeah.
song blew up again.
Well,
That's pretty
look
wild.
at Wednesday and the Cramps, Goo Goo
hmm
Muck, man. I used
hmm
to go see the Cramps in the late '80s and early '90s when he would wear his spandex and put the microphone in his mouth and his junk would fall out of his spandex while he was running around on stage, and Poison Ivy was just shredding it on guitar. Oh
hmm
my God, those were some of the most fun shows as far as small club shows I was ever at because it was nonstop sweaty dancing, and it
Oh
was
yeah, and it
the
was like
best energy.
I used to go to Soma. We used to go to Soma in San Diego, like when it was still like the big warehouse before they converted it into a club. had a like all the all the grunge bands went through there before their albums like made it big, like Alice, Pearl Jam, and
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails. And so.
Mm-hmm.
Good
The
stuff.
dungeon. I love the dungeon. You can go down to the dungeon because like you had to earn your way out of the dungeon to get to play on the main stage.
Oh wow, that's
Like,
cool. Hey, no, that's great.
you're in the basement until people don't think you suck. You know. So.
Yeah, that's great though. That's I mean, that's how some of the best bands that we ever got to hear made their chops. The Doors playing like the Whiskey a Go Go Whiskey, like as the house band, or some small club in L.A. playing as the house band every night for 3 or 4 months before anybody knew who they were. They really got to work on their chops, and that's how you do it. So yeah, no, that's great. If any band gets that opportunity, they should take that opportunity.
Fuck yeah.
So,
well, hey, how we doing? We're trucking along in time here.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, I think I blew through all the stuff I was going to ask you about. We've been talking about music for a minute.
I know.
So I was having a blast.
I know you guys do a lot of fitness stuff. If you want to talk fitness and diet stuff, I mean, we cook, we eat healthy. My wife and I do a lot of cooking. Our son's mostly vegetarian just because he doesn't like meat. He just doesn't. He eats a little bit of fish, a little bit of like crab, a little bit of shrimp.
That sounds like you got him
meatballs.
like trying a lot of different stuff. What do you guys cook at home?
We cook a lot of stuff, everything from the traditional Italian dishes that I grew up with to chicken dishes, which he doesn't eat. When he eats that, we make vegetables. Like we bake cauliflower. We've been experimenting with a lot of spices and like North African and Middle Eastern spices, especially lately, just because the Middle Eastern food is so wonderful and delicious. And the way those seasonings roll on the meats and the vegetables is unbelievable. And we'll bake like sweet potatoes and zucchini and a bunch and broccoli and cauliflower together with the North African spices on them, and he'll eat those up, and they're really good. He likes Indian food a lot, like samosas, and he likes their eggplant dish, Bagan Barta, which is a little spicy with a tomato base, and it's
Glad
really
you mentioned the
wonderful.
spices. I was doing meal prep this week, and it totally just lost my mind until you just mentioned it. Like how diverse you can get, even when you're eating clean and healthy. You just open up to using all kinds of different spices. So that's cool. I'm glad you mentioned.
Absolutely, and the spices are important. They can have other, not health but body benefits, I guess you could say. I mean, these spices and seasonings work in different ways in our body. I mean, they know that from the science that's behind it. And
like turmeric, that's
turmeric and ginger. Yeah.
The tea that I drink when I'm at work is a turmeric ginger tea. That's what I drink at work. Totally. A hot tea at work, and it's one of my favorite teas, especially when I get a cold or anything too. And so
we keep those ingredients in the super shake recipe that we put together. That's on the Resoluters group on Facebook.
It has to be. I mean, those are important, and you got to throw a little pepper in it to make the turmeric work as well.
Yeah,
so,
get the combo.
Yeah.
I like some of the supplements I've seen you can get for turmeric. If you take the capsule out, if you just crack it open, you can make tea out of it.
That's wild.
And for the pepper, for the absorption rate.
Yeah, that's wild. And like, I don't know how you guys did it with your children, but everything we make our son try. He has to at least try it.
Yeah, me too.
100%.
And a lot of times we'll be like, like with the vegetable dishes, you got to eat them. And one of the things that, because he doesn't like a lot of meat, I started making risotto, and I love making.
Oh, that's
risotto.
great! I fucking love risotto.
Fucking love it, man.
I manage an Italian restaurant right now, and everything is made from scratch. All the pastas, and then we have an incredible vegetarian mushroom risotto, which is an easy addiction.
Absolutely. And because he doesn't eat meat, like I make a vegan pasta fagioli with veggie stock, and I just
that is old school right there.
I'll tell you what, it's one of my comfort food go-to dishes because when it's cold, it's hearty, and because you don't have the meats in there, I use zucchini. I use lion's mane mushrooms because the lion's mane mushrooms absorbs the sauces really well.
Nice.
And it doesn't have that overwhelming mushroom flavor that can change because mushrooms can change the flavor of a fajol or any other dish because of the strength of them. And it's not bad. I love mushrooms, but the lion's mane mushroom is really hearty and it fills in. I use zucchini, red peppers, yellow peppers, garlic. When he was a baby, he used to eat cloves of garlic. Now he won't anymore. Now he won't anymore. So, but
I eat cloves of garlic. I like that.
I do too. But diet's just as important, and sleep's another important aspect of staying healthy.
Speaking our language right now.
Yep.
So
coming out of the holidays with the later nights because the restaurant's been so busy and that kind of stuff, that's been a challenge of getting me back into a normal sleep routine.
Yeah.
And also, as you get older, just learning what foods that I can't eat anymore. Like bread is no longer my friend.
I know bread is definitely not our friend.
Nope.
But do you still close? Do you still do closing shifts?
Yeah, right now I am. Yeah.
Do they rotate it?
Yeah, we do. I have other closers and stuff too. So I'll bounce between it is. You do them all. You do open, mids, closes, that kind of stuff. This job, as far as hours in a week, it's nowhere near as intense as what I've had to do in the past. So it's pretty forgiving. But it's just when we close it, it's a later night. You get in that routine too, where like me going to bed, all it takes is one late night conversation with someone on the East or West Coast. I'm going to bed in the morning.
Absolutely. Yep. And your whole sleep is thrown off for the next few days.
Exactly.
Especially when you get older, it's crazy.
Yep, absolutely. Because can't take melatonin every night, or then you get resistant to it. So I just tried to slam an entire bottle of NyQuil, and that usually I'm just kidding.
Scissor.
That's a little scissor. That's a desperate measure, right?
Flower, man, go for the flower. The cannabis.
I'm so out of practice. Oh my God, we should have been hanging out in Cali when I was living out there, dude. My best friend Josh, his family, back then when I was living there, they were the number one legal grower for the government on the West Coast.
Nice.
And he used to go work the harvest up there in Oregon each year. And oh my God, I would smoke once a year because the guy just, I just wasn't in the habit of it. But I would take my vacation. He lived in Joshua Tree. We go out there hiking. So I'd show up and you walk in the door after 3-hour commute. He'd be like, "Hit it," and then we go cook dinner. And I'm just like, "This is the best shit, isn't it?"
I'm not going anywhere.
30 minutes later, missed dinner, passed out on the couch.
Hey, long drive, it happens. It happens. So,
nice and bakey for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
It was good. That was good old days right there.
Yeah, when you're younger, your body can handle that stuff. Not so much when you get older. It gets harder. Everything gets harder.
In Texas, they'll put you in jail for weed. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
You have to know how much you can carry if you just want to get a misdemeanor. They had when I first moved here, it was the wildest shit I've ever seen. The district attorney went on the news and was pleading with the public on the news, going, the number of warrants due for misdemeanor marijuana offenses are in the thousands, where the people have not signed up for their class, like their driver's training class or whatever, to deal with it due to their court proceeding. If you guys don't go and sign up for the class, this is going to impact actual criminals in their investigations because of the volume of warrants that will have to be issued tomorrow. Please go online and sign up for your class.
Wow.
I just wanted to email them and go, legalize this shit, and we're not going to have a problem.
No kidding.
I've never seen anything like that in my life, bro. We know we don't care about this shit either, but you're causing a paperwork pileup that's not good for the city. I was like, dude.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, that's way too much paperwork.
Yep.
Yeah, we have medical here, and then New Jersey next to us is completely legal, but it's harder now. I don't know. I'm so busy. It's different when you get older. Everything's different.
Just like I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and she was like, she only works 4 days a week, and she gets to go out and going out for a couple hours 3 nights a week is no big deal. And I was like, I have to function in life. I don't have a 30-hour a week job, or can't come to work and be responsible for other people and just go, I don't feel like it. It was
I even if I only work 30 or 20 hours a week, I still don't think I could do it. I really don't. Go out 3 or 4 nights a week. I mean, before we had our son, I could go to 3 concerts a week.
Oh yeah.
But now, no way, man. I would much rather be reading to him in bed, and then half the time going to sleep right after he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Or before.
I feel that, man.
Sometimes,
Jeff's
Dad,
doing
quit
that now.
snoring. Dad,
That was my lifestyle when I met you in Denver, because my kids were like that. I was in my 20s. I remember going up to like Jennifer Stubbs had a party. I don't know, after I'd been there for a few years, and I showed up, and I remember Christian Hahn was like, "Dude, you're here. You never come out to this stuff." I remember I was off for a few days after that, or whatever, and we're just sitting in a little circle in her basement, passing a joint around, and Christian's like, "This church going motherfucker's smoking weed with me."
That's hilarious. Christian's a funny dude. That's funny. Christian's a funny guy.
Him and Zach, dude. I love working with those guys.
Yeah, there were a lot of great people in Denver, man. A lot of great people we worked with. We're lucky.
For sure.
So.
Hey, my clock's clicking on because I actually have to be somewhere in half an hour. So I am going to introduce everyone to Franco Maganoli, and we're going to wrap it up because this is a fun track.
Love it.
Where we go? Where's my graphics? So yeah, Franco right here. This is from his club days in New York. He's going to be playing actually some Jack Johnson style. He's got a ukulele song that he did original for us, and I'm going to let him belt out. So yeah, so I'm going to plug him in. We'll do a little share screen action, and then we'll give it a little wrap.
Right on.
Tab. Boom. Boom. I'm Mr. Franco Maganoli.
What's up, Resoluters? I'm going to play a song called One and Only. This is a special exclusive just for you. Now when you wake up, I wanna be the first thing you see. And when you breathe, I want the air to smell like me. I wanna be the one you think about day and night. The one you call when you need to make everything alright. Now if you wanna dance, then I'll make a song for you. And if you need to cry, I will dry your tears too. And if you wanna laugh, I'll ride my bike into a tree. Yeah, that would be funny if I can be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Now when we're far apart, you wear my shirt to smell like me. And hug yourself and make believe I was in those sleeves. And when I'm gone, you pace around all day long, just waiting for my call, just to say you're waiting home. Now if you want, you can call me any time of the day, and I will let you know that everything's okay. No matter where we are, every night at 9 o'clock, we're both looking at the stars and wish we were in each other's arms. If I can be your one and only, yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Check it out. If life was a play, I would play my part until the days turn dark, till the stars don't sparkle, till the moon don't shine, the sun don't glisten. part of you, stole your heart from you, and I don't plan on ever giving it back. You know I got your back, baby. Even when you're acting crazy, one minute you hate me, but the next you love me. Of course it must be the way I make you smile that makes it worth a while. And of course your slots in my #1 spot. You're everything I'm not, plus you're all that I got. You're the better half of this perfect match. Make a fool out of myself to make you laugh. It don't get no better. This is life. I'd be okay, yeah, if I can't be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Yeah, I just want to be your one and only. Oh, 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 yeah.
Boom.
Hell yeah.
Well, I was
Good
digging
tune,
it.
man. That dude's good.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good stuff.
Yeah.
It's so different than his usual style of music that he does too, man. It's like I'm not used to him singing, so he sang a track for the last time that he was on the show too, and I was just like, "Damn, dude! I forgot you
Yeah.
had." So, it was very cool.
Good
So
shit.
anyway, thank you, Mark, for being with us tonight. Thank you, Franco, for the sampling of the music with us this evening. It was great catching up with you, buddy. Thank
Dude,
you,
pleasure
Jeff.
talking music with you, man.
Too. It was great talking music with you guys too. If you want to do it again, we'll do it again. Definitely.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd love to have you back on. You guys can
Alrighty.
bring your boys and talk about the stuff you guys have been doing together between burpees and swimming and
Heck
everything.
yeah. Get
Maybe.
the boys on here.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Sounds
Sounds good. Take care,
Everybody.
everybody.
Y'all have a
Take care.
good night.
Thanks. You
Good
too.
night.